Hi, Lee here, another video is the preview of the game at the weekend. It's away at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United, and Sunderland go there full of confidence, unbeaten in 4 off the bat of last week's win against Nottingham Forest. And look, there's no fear factor playing Manchester United. I've been thinking about it all week now. Nothing scares us about playing them at the present moment in time. And that says more, but I think that says more where the two clubs are, more than anything else. If you look at last season, they finished 15th. They only got 42 points. Ten Hag left in November and Amorim took over beginning November. In his games in charge, he hasn't even accumulated 40 points yet. I mean, they did get the Europa League final, but that's by the by. You could say they were lucky to get past Lyon, because Lyon should have turned them over and saw that game out, and they were lucky to get past Lyon. And I still know it's just a totally different Manchester United than I've ever seen. I mean, they've had, since Ferguson left, they dominated the 90s and 2000s under Ferguson, with players like Beckham, Giggs, Ronaldo, Rooney's, Van Nistelrooy's, all them. And even they would get the lesser players and they'd bring them on and make them world beaters, like your Louis Saha's, your Fabios, your Raphael's, your Tom Cleverleys, stuff like that. You'd literally shit your pants playing Manchester United. But there's nothing about them playing them this time around that actually worries us at all. And look, they've got some quality players that I'll get onto, but nothing's working for them. They're currently 14th in the Premier League. They played 6-1-2, drew 1 and lost 3. They needed a 97th minute penalty at home to Burnley to beat them. They needed Chelsea to get Sanchez sent off and Maresca to lose his mind to beat them, and even still they nearly fucked it. Then they drew with Fulham 1-1 after leading 1-0, and they knocked it in the last minute. They lost 1-0 to Arsenal, which was probably their best performance of the season if you ask a Manchester United fan. At home to Arsenal, they were excellent against Arsenal. And I thought, oh, there must be a different team, because they weren't looking to get beat. But then they got hammered off Man City 3-0, and they got beat last weekend against Brentford. By all accounts, the Brentford defeat was the worst of the entire lot, because they were awful. I hate using the word, but they're a joke of the club at the minute. They're an absolute joke of a football club at the minute. And everything's pointing. I'm trying to think of them, because I know I like the big Sunderland up a lot. I've been trying to think of a more neutral side of things, and no matter which way I look at it, I cannot see someone getting beat. And look, even if we do get beat, we're not lessening ourselves if we get beat. It's fucking Manchester United. But I cannot, even everybody else is saying, I cannot see us getting beat. I'm not saying we're going to win. Spoiler for my prediction, I have backed us to win. But I struggle to see how Man United will suddenly go like that and it's going to work and they're going to turn us over. Because we're very solid. If we can repeat the performances of previous weeks, then there's no reason why we shouldn't. No one likes Amorim. Anyone. The players look like they don't want to play for him. The system's shit. But he's married to it. If he turns to a point where he changes that system, it's because of the people above him, not him. So he's a sacking waiting to happen. And there's rumours that they're going to wait till November, because it'd be cheaper to sack him. But nothing's going to be going right if that's the case. If the rumour, obviously, no one's coming on and saying, "No, I'm going to stick by him." He's not getting that dreaded vote of confidence, so to speak. No one's turning around and saying, "Oh, we're fully behind him." It's just, it's an absolute joke. If this was the other way around, it was Sunderland in the position of Manchester United and the way they're playing, and Manchester United win our position, people will say it's going to be a 3 or 4-0 game, just in the opposite direction. You know what I mean? It's just, I just don't see where they're gonna, if they continue playing 3-4-3 with the centre halves that they got, I cannot see how Sunderland lose the game. We're very solid defensively. We've only conceded, I think it's only conceded 4 goals all season in 6 games. And 2 of them came in 1 game. The last 3 games we've kept 2 clean sheets. We kept a clean sheet against a very good Palace side. We kept a clean sheet last weekend against Forest. And I think Man United will score. I'm not going to say we are going to keep a clean sheet this weekend. But I think midfield, we look at defensively wise, we probably, any of our defence probably getting Manchester United's team. Midfield wise, if they play the 2, we're going to be stronger if they continue to play Fernandes out of position. And if they go to move them into one of the number 10 positions, who are they going to drop? They'll only play 2 of them. If they decide to play Ahmad right wing back, let's be honest, he isn't a right wing back. And The rest of the team, you just don't know where they're going to look. If they play Maguire and De Ligt as a back and Shaw as a back three, it should all have a field day in behind like Thiago did last week. And the goalkeeper didn't get a start in there. Goalkeeper. I mean, as a Sunderland supporter, we've seen some shit goalkeepers in our time, and he's up there with them. Like Binder, I think his name is. He's absolutely terrible. He's absolutely terrible. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lamens comes into them for the weekend. But then, do you chuck him in the powder keg? A young lad, do you chuck him straight? You chuck him in like that, and if it doesn't go well and he makes a mistake, that's two keepers that are on the Ross. So it's a difficult situation for Man United. They were the goalkeeper situation, but he seems to be married to a lot of things. He's not willing to change it. He's been stubborn. Whether that's his mentality or whether he's just putting his feet down and saying, I'm going to get sacked anyway, so I'm just going to keep playing the way I want to play. And again, there's been rumours that the board met them during the week and they've told him to play a 4-3-3. If he does that, it's not his decision. It's quite clearly made that it wouldn't be his decision. So is he going to be fully invested in the game? Probably not. If they've made their minds up where they're going to sack him in November anyway, these games following up, if put it this way, if he fails to beat us and he sees past the international break, he's the luckiest man alive. As I say, they're an absolute joke at the minute, Manchester United. But as I said, as I'm going to get on to, they've still got some very good players. Bruno Fernandes, he's the captain. He can be one of the top players in the league himself. He is getting played out of position. He missed a penalty last week, so his confidence is probably on the floor. But everybody knows how good he can be. Brian Mbeumo as well. Summer signing from Brentford, got 20 goals for them last year. He hasn't lit the world alight so far for Manchester United, but he has, alongside Matthias Cunha, who I'm going to get onto in a minute, has looked more likely to make something happen. Obviously, if he's keeping Ahmad out of the team as well, unless he plays him right wing back, which he shouldn't. Then obviously Cunha as well. I thought he was excellent against Arsenal opening day, and he's just come back from an injury. If we don't pick him up and we allow him free run, we will dominate the game, and you will win the game because these three players are that good if they want to be. If we're not switched on, but I imagine we will be. Then you look at other players like Ahmad. Other than that, it's probably the only four I'd have in my team. From a Sunderland perspective, I don't really rate Benjamin Sesko. I know he scored last week, but took him 3 chances from 8 yards to score. And you look at defensive wise, I wouldn't swap any of their defenders for ours. Even if it means Diogo Dalot over Trium, I wouldn't. And people can call us naive and everything like that, but why would you? I think a back three of Mukiele, Ballard and Alderete is probably better than Maguire, Shaw and De Ligt. And look, looks like I'm tearing My United apart, and looks like you'll clip this and I'll have egg on my face if the result doesn't go our way. But it's literally just how I feel at the minute. And every club should feel that when they're playing Manchester United at the minute, because they're not doing themselves any favours. So I'm not just doing it off the base of like, there's facts behind it and there's truth behind it and I've got evidence to show for it. I just don't get it. I think if we get an early goal or they don't score within the first 20 minutes of the game, I can see it being very toxic from a Manchester United perspective, which will only benefit Sunderland. It is Old Trafford, and I know they can get behind the team. Man United fans, even though I don't like the football club, Manchester United fans are good fans, and they can galvanise a team. There's the reason why they scored X amount of last-minute goals throughout the entire existence of what I've been alive anyway, is because the fans drive them on. But as I said, if we keep them quiet for a long period of time or we get an early goal, it could go west for Manchester United. So it could all benefit Sunderland. And as I said, I just can't see us getting beat. And that's the third time I've said it. We probably will end up getting beat now, sorry. But as I said, they got lucky against Burnley and Chelsea. They nearly fucked it against Chelsea, and the rest of the games they quite clearly struggled. So as I say, we can get at them if we repeat the performances of Villa and Forest, and as I say in Palace, and we're resolute as we were against Palace, and we do get our chances and we do take them, I think we'll win the game. Now I'm going to say 2-1 Sunderland. That would look very silly on my perspective, but I think we can win the game. It's a winnable game. I would say the fact if any team was 14th in the form, if this was a West Ham or a Wolves or a Brentford or a Fulham, people be looking at as a winnable game. So why should it be any different just because it's Man United? The players quite clearly are lost in their own selves. Amorim's quite clearly lost in this translation of what he wants to play, his system, even though it isn't working. And look, if it comes to the point, there's a reason they lost to Grimsby in the Cup. There's a reason they lost to Grimsby in the Cup. And if he doesn't change it again, they're playing 3-4-3 again. He's an absolute fraud. He's any manager who is deemed worth their salt to be a Manchester United manager should be able to adapt. Register the Breeders and he only manages Sunderland. That's the thing, is Register the Breeders and he only manages Sunderland. He adapts and he can change in necessary moments. But thank you again for all the views on the Nottingham Forest video. Go and check that out. I'll release that on Monday. Same again, we'll probably go at the weekend. It'll probably be Sunday or Monday for the review video. And just anyone going down to Old Trafford, have a safe journey down. Hopefully you bring the points back with you. But I'm going to sit there and enjoy it. Hopefully we do too, and hopefully the result goes in Sunderland's favour. And we keeping these points ticking over and keep going from strength to strength. Thank you for all the engagements. Have a good week. How are the lads?